Let's shift a bit now. Since we have already started the conversation with businesses, let's see how AI is impacting real decisions in businesses. My first question is going to be, what are the hidden costs of scaling with AI? Is it infrastructure, cloud usage, data security, or human oversight? Companies talk about savings, but what are they not talking about?
They talking about savings, but you see, they don't. Everyone has this fear of being left out, etc. If I don't use it, I'm losing something. I don't. But if you're actually going to talk to these small, especially small companies, right, and say, okay, why are we using it? Where are you using it? You say, look, I have no idea how to use it. So I don't see the problem as a problem of resources, costs. Doesn't matter how much it costs. If it saves you 10 times more than what it costs, doesn't matter, right? So the problem is business model.
Right.
So if it costs 1, but that 1 let you save 10, right? Then becomes, okay, how to use it becomes the question. Where are going to use this thing that actually help me to reduce costs? To increase costs is easy. Buy a new server, buy a new software, and have it there, and have something. That's easy, right? To create more costs. To actually say, no, I do that, and I'm reducing here. Right? In business, you have 3 ways to prove a point, to create a business model. Either reduce cost, you accelerate new service, you can launch new service faster without the cost and the time, or the same services you have, you can provide the same service or better with lower, so you improve the margin for what you have already. Depends on the business, right? Majority of times when they saving costs means firing people, at least not hiring people. 70% of costs everywhere is people, right? So if I can use the technology to reduce my workforce or not hire workforce, usually that's a way to prove saving costs. Of course, the other ones is how to accelerate, I don't see the problem of cost scalability as a technical research problem, right? You can have like a Codex running at $20 per month. I mean, you can do a lot of that, depending on what you're doing, right? A small pipeline, etc. You can do that. The problem is usability. People don't know, okay, what actually can I do that not only one shots I can actually do and actually has a business impact that's actually significant.
I think I totally relate with that.
Right.
Yeah, because one of the major things is there is too much noise and there's too many things going on and we don't know where to focus on. So I totally agree with that, sir. The next question.
So going with that, like continuing, so companies right now in the AI age are figuring out, is cost efficiency a better way to produce products to the customers, or are they supposed to focus more on the speed and production quality? So which one do you think that most companies, especially the startups, are focusing right now with the current AI time?
They are trying to find the golden goose, right, to make the startup.
So like
it becomes free. So I read a news yesterday. The Apple Store is the utilization increased by 80% because people using Codex, etc. to create apps, right? And it sounds clear that out of these new apps, great majority are just because it's easy to do, there's no cost, you're going to dump something there, etc. In the market, some are going to use, majority won't use, and that's it. Startups are becoming a lot like that, right? So the question becomes, in a startup, it is not about the product idea. This is not a startup, right? This is trying idea. Startup is about fundraising. So how to create the engine of create a market and prove there is a go-to-market, there is a product, there is some MVP, then you prove you go-to-market, and then you say, look, now I can go to market, I need some kind of investment to make it move, right? That's the problem with startup, how to make it work. Does AI accelerate the process? Of course it does, right? It's automation. Of course it does, right? It's going to make you create the MVP. I mean, one of the big problems in startup before, technology startups, was to create MVP. Right. That's not a problem. It's exactly that's what's true. Right? People are doing MVP way faster because you get Codex, a website or MVP. You just ask to generate the thing, right? Once you Codex or Cloud Code, once you know how to use a little bit. What was taking a long time? What was the cost factor? Which was, I need the skills, I need a programmer, I need a guy that build a full stack sheet, etc. Now became automated. So of course it will accelerate. Does it mean it will be more successful?
Maybe not.
Depends on the market.
But again, I have a question.
Probably not, because again, relating to my area, which was mobile computing, building a mobile app. First it was impossible. You need to build C app, right? And then you need to go. And then they create some Java at the time things. You could configure a little bit to get one, right? The problem is you could not distribute. Right? You could create the app, but install you have to go. And then Apple create the Apple Store, which was amazing. You could create the app, you put there, and suddenly becomes visible. Of course, that thing that exploded Apple in the Apple phone, etc. The time to create to marketize went from months to 1 month, 2 months. Now it went from 1 month, 2 months to hours. Hours. If you know how to use.
Hours, yeah.
If you know how to use, hours. What it means? It means you're going to have thousands of applications not being used. Yeah.
In the initial part, when you talked about Apple like being a little bit more cost efficient these days, from the I think at least from the past 5 years, we can see that Apple is focusing more on tweaking a small changes in the products rather than entirely changing it for cost optimization. Don't you think that will be a problem for innovation and customer satisfaction in these days where people are expecting big changes in less time?
No.
Why?
Why do you think that?
Because
well,
first check Apple. They sell very well, right? People, there is this thing that people need change, etc. Let's say if Apple, let's get for example, would come with a radical new phone. Does it mean everybody would change the phone to the radical new phone? No, right? Actually, if you get the dynamics of the market, if you're going to relate AI, etc. for Apple, it's more like a market of refinancing a phone. It's more a financial market than a technology market. Right? Majority of people that already has the Apple and they pay $20 and there is a new version, it's going to expire and say, okay, I pay more, $20, keep paying. Right? Majority of people do that, to 20, 30, whatever is that. So it's a financial market than a technology that actually sustains. But let's go for a big improvement. Would Apple need a big device to disrupt the market, etc.? No. Right? Because it's that. Now let's go for another way to see this question.
Mm-hmm.
What Samsung has to do
to
take Apple's market? Would Samsung be able to come up with a device that's so revolutionary that say, look, let me dump my iPhone, dump this bill, and I'm suddenly going to change to Samsung? Sounds unlikely.
Sounds unlikely, yes.
Sounds unlikely. Doesn't matter what it is, right? If it's AI on a phone, etc. For 2 reasons. First, because it's loyalty, brand loyalty, right? People are going to be working on that. And second, because if that happens, Apple just going to, likely they have it. Right?
And I do see like they keep copying each other every single year. Like when one introduces titanium, the other one adapts to it, and then they might go on the same page.
Look, I had the opportunity to visit Samsung. It's called Samsung Advanced Institute of Technology. In the time I spent in Korea, etc. The technology they had, that was 10 years ago, is ahead of the technology we had today in terms of conversation.
In which year was this?
Etc. 2016.
2016.
Right? It's ahead of what we have today, 3D technology, 3D cameras, 3D holographic, conversation, etc. Some things were not, like LLMs, of course, it's ahead. But if you follow these labs, you see it's way ahead what we have today. There is no reason to try to drop, no, let me drop the whole set of experimental technology to create a new market. No, people don't want that. People want small
changes, slowly
adaptive. They don't even use the small change. We don't even use everything a phone has.
Absolutely.
Right?
But then Apple and Samsung and Google and all these are big companies that have been on the market probably for the last 20 years. I want to focus more on startup companies. I want to focus more on the things that are just coming up. One of the questions that we really had when we were trying to put up our own startup, which we really had, was what actually gives an AI startup the power to say no to an acquisition offer from Google or Microsoft and still compete in the market? You know, make sure that they are getting to the top big 5.
A very crazy guy, because look...
and what would that guy look like?
Great majority of people would say, look, let me take the money. A question before that, what I perceive would be necessary for a startup to work is not the idea of the product, right? It's the market. And the market and the capacity to fundraise. Mm-hmm. So if you get a startup, doesn't matter the idea. You see this startup with this girl from OpenAI, Mira Murati. They start up with Lia Kun, etc. They get billions of dollars. Do you think what? Because they have a great idea, great product? No, they get that money just because they have good names there. They have a way to do the fundraising. Nice, of course, it's expected they're going to come with amazing stuff. So for a startup that you need to create these strategies of how it's not the idea, it's not the product. Anyone can do that. I keep saying that. Anyone can do now. Right? What was the limitation? Which was, let me put the MVP together. We could have been a differentiation for you guys 2-3 years ago. It's not there anymore. Right. Anyone can actually get a codex and put something together. And until a certain point, they can make it work. What is the problem at the connections, right, to the road? That's AI, etc. cannot do, right? Have a good name dropping, right? We have reputable guys, reputable names in your startup that when you're going to have a fundraising conversation, etc., you say, look, I'm working with this guy. So create the reputation, right? Or having 2, 4 or 5 or 10 clients and you say, look, I already provide something like that to this guy, that guy. It creates the reputation.
Correct.
The problem becomes a problem, which is going back to the answer about the Apple. The problem becomes a market of reputation, not a market of solutions, right? Because solution technically, your skills is becoming easy to come up with or replace. You're still going to need very amazing ideas. You're still going to need capacity to produce, etc. I'm not saying that, of course. But what was taking 1 month before, you can take in hours now, right? So, and other people are going to be doing a lot. What lacks from this lot of applications on Apple or all these startups coming up now? Reputation.
Reputation makes a lot.
Reputation. Credentials. Okay, why you? Why should I invest on you? I have this idea, I have this, I have that. Blah. Who is using that? Tell me 5 users that actually use that. Tell me 5 big companies that use that and actually save money, whatever. It was a benefit for them. They got something from that and work, and they can talk about you, right? That's the first thing. Okay, tell me what names you have in your board and whatever that actually shows that you're able to create something more than 2 guys in the codex building an app.
I was looking at one of Naval Ravikant's podcast, and he tells us the same thing, which is nature teaches more than anything else. And in the case of business, it's the customers that teach us whether our product is going to be a good fit or not. So sometimes what ends up happening is there are clients that sometimes that come up to few different startups and ask to add AI into their projects, even when the project really does not need AI. How do we tackle with such a client? What do we say? Do we just say that it's not?
No, look, you need a strategic consulting, right? To just first analyze. So this happens a lot, right? So as you can imagine, I get a lot of requests, etc. Can you come up with something? Can you? Usually they come like free consulting kind of requests, right? Can you do this and build this thing for me for free? And then they come another bullshit that happens a lot. It's the so-called sweat equity. Can you do that? And then you get some shares from that. It's I get it. Imagine, right, how many I get. So the first question is, look, are you serious about what you want to build? How much you're going to invest, right? I do that. Are you serious? Are you putting what, 100K, 200K, 300, what? No, you do it. And if it works, I come with the idea, you come with the work. I mean, the moment I do it for free, I'm actually investing from my money, right?
Yes.
Because 2 things. First is a consulting time, I'm not selling to somebody else.
Correct.
And second, I'm putting my money there. So it's a stupid request, right?
Right.
So levels of stupidity goes even below that. So the first one is work for free for me. Imagine how many you guys get, right? This should work for free for me, right? The second level is, if this thing work, I'm gonna bring to the market and we're gonna make money together. Okay, I'm gonna make more than you, but we make together. Okay. And the third one would be the simplest one. Would be I have this idea. It works. It's working more or less. But I think if I put an AI in it, it's gonna suddenly make it work magically.
I think they use it for like marketing term as an AI, like in the business. For example, like a friend of mine works. So he told me that Middle East customers usually are like more into the AI buzz, and they want to use AI as a marketing brand for the customers and try just pushing in things like chatbots, they just want AI in chatbots. And my friend is like, what do I even put in that?
But look, not going for specific places, etc. Right?
Right.
Well, first, AI is a marketing term. It does exist as a technology. I mean, there is no, this is AI, this is not AI. I mean, the whole is so gray area that you can brand anything AI, anything that makes a decision, you better call it AI. That's it. So there is nothing that say AI is a model, AI is a data science, AI is an analytic model, AI is a marketing term. You drop AI, etc. Today was driving here, so AI power urology, whatever, right? So they just dropped the marketing term that looks like what? In the past, the term was smart. It's a smart thing, was an intelligent thing. Today is AI power. Like in 2 or 3 years, going to be something different. And there's some cultures, which doesn't matter. It's beautiful anyway. They are more based on appearance, etc. Right? The way you dress, the gold you have, the watch you wear. So we don't have watch, right? And stuff like that. And of course, these would say, look, what is the trendy thing today? AI? The market, everybody's talking AI. I'm going to drop AI.
So we can just say like it's a marketing strategy.
Yeah, but look, if you know that's, if they are buying gold, you should be selling gold.
Correct.
If they are buying silver, you should be selling silver. If they start to buy AI, you sell AI.
You sell AI.
AI, but there is, going for the sales part, right? There is different levels of sales. Sales where you sell whatever he wants to buy, you get the money, everybody's happy. There is sales where, okay, I sell this thing to you, and there is a mid-long-term strategy behind for me, right? So I create this business for you, we're going to be there, and if it works, it's going to be a long strategy. You have this kind of sales that you regret we have done it, right? Because it's just like waste of time for everybody. So the thing is about being smart and sell what they want to buy. Of course, they want to buy AI thing, you sell it, why not?
Connecting it back to, the market does it all. So yeah, I hope it makes sense now. It does make sense to me of how the market helps out different startups.
It's always like it is.